Right, campers, welcome back. So today we've just took delivery of all the electrics we need, so let's get it unwrapped, let's get it unboxed, and I can show you what I've bought and how it's going to work. Right, so this is the kit that I bought. Now I'm so happy that I went this route. I did look at buying things individually and buying them or building them as I went along with the conversion. It's more cost effective to buy it as a kit, if you like. So just for this video, we're going to only fit the split charge system and the leisure battery to the location I've chose. And then you have to wait. There'll be other videos as we're going along where I'm fitting other stuff, because obviously really I need cupboards in and things like that. But I'm definitely glad I bought it as a kit, because I've got it all now, it's all done, and I can't stress enough. I looked on the internet for quite a while and I spoke to a few companies, and all I'll say is be very careful who you choose to buy this stuff off, because this is electrics, guys. This is one thing, this is a safety issue. This is one thing that you definitely need to get right in your bus, in your van, and you need to let the pros do it. I mean, I could have built most of this individually, and I could have gone and got a length of cable and soldered the terminals on myself. However, the guys at RAYNE Automotive, they're absolutely phenomenal. They're absolutely brilliant. They're the experts, guys. I'm not. They're the pros. This is their kit. They're a UK-based company. I like to support UK-based companies as much as I can. And to be honest, their customer service is phenomenal. Now you've seen the kit a little bit closer, you obviously can see roughly what we've got. So we've got 4 LED downlights, it's come with the 240 hookup for on site, it's come with the 240 plugs and sockets. I added the inverter to it so I can charge my cameras and stuff up direct, so I added that. Obviously it's got the fuse boxes, it's got the split charge, it's got the relays, it's got the fuse switch panel, with the power outlets on it, the voltage gauge, and the 8 switches, smart charger for when the 240 hookup, the 8 amp leisure battery charger. So I've got that as well. And what they do when you give them a call, they ask what spec you're going to be building and what your van is, obviously. So for me, what they've done is I've told them exactly where I want stuff, i.e. I'm putting this under the driver's seat, the battery, which is down there. They've done all the wiring for my fridge, for my pump, for the sink. They've done the wiring for everything, for a diesel heater. I told them everything I plan on fitting in the near future, and they've completely done the wiring. You explain to them where you're going to locate that. Obviously you're going to put the lights in the top, you're going to put the sink by the back of the driver's seat, things like that, and they make the wiring to your specs. So they make all the lengths to the specs that you need. They completely do, almost like custom. Every setup is kind of custom and unique to that customer, if you like. And another good thing as well, guys, is they also send you the literature with a full kind of like how-to wiring diagram of everything where it should go. So not only will this video help you, you've also got literature, and they even do specific drawings for your setup to give you that help and advice that you need. So trust me now, I haven't been paid to say this, they haven't paid me to do this video. All I'm doing is I found a setup that you guys can just buy like I have. I've chose to buy this and you can just fit like I am. But that's enough of this. We need to start getting onto the practical stuff now. So let's start fitting all this, and I can show you step by step what we're going to do. Right, so first job you need to do now is open up the van, open up under your bonnet. You may have a cover on like that. If so, remove that so you expose the battery here. You now need to disconnect the battery, but when you do that, make sure that you disconnect the negative first. I can't believe how dirty it is under here. I've got to sort that out. So when you're disconnecting the battery, you should always do the negative first. The reason for that is because if you do the positive first and it's still a live charge system, and then you rotate your spanner or ratchet or anything and you touch the body at the same time as you've got it on the terminal, that will make a connection and that will arc and that will melt, literally melt your spanner to the body, to the battery, and can potentially cause an explosion. You know, extreme worst case scenario. Undo, there's a 13mm head down here. Get yourself a ratchet with an extension bar and a 13mm socket. Undo that clamp, take it off, and then lift the battery out. So I'll do that now, and then we'll move on. So now you've got to this stage, you've removed the battery, you've removed the clamp. I've found that it's quite dirty and there's a little bit of rust here, so I'm going to address that off camera and just clean all this up. Excuse the light, excuse the audio, but I'm kind of crammed in the corner here trying to work with what I've got, so just bear with it. This is more about facts than being fancy. So what we need to do now is we need to remove this panel here to expose the bulkhead grommet, which is going to give us the access that we need into the cabin. So the way you do that is pull this seal off here. Yet again, yours shouldn't look like this, but this has been off the road for a while. Now there's a screw here and one here, but it's from the top. Now these are Torx 30 T30, which is just a Torx bit like that, and it's a 30. I don't know if you can see that or not. So I've got a screwdriver for this. You can use a ratchet or anything, or a little bit set, but a screwdriver is quite handy. Get under here, instead of taking all this off, if you get yourself a little block of wood or something and kind of get a screwdriver, push that up like that, and then put the wood underneath to hold it up. So I'll do that and show you. So there's how I've done it. Don't use anything too big, don't force this up too much. I mean, you can take all this off if you want, but I'm just cutting corners. Just giving yourself a little bit of access there allows you to come in at the top, through that vent, and get onto the head of the bolt. So undo that one, undo that one. So when you've removed both of the bolts, the panel will drop down like this. So now you can just pull this out. Might take a little bit of moving around and a little bit of wiggling. This here, we are going to have to drill through this, but we're going to do that last. So we're going to come back to that, because I'll probably repaint this anyway. So now, let me clean all these cobwebs and stuff. This one here, there, that's the one that we're trying to gain access to. Now we've got access to that, we need to get access. I'm going to have to, this is going to bug me. All this is like really dirty and it's like really muddy as well. So I'm going to have to, so another job for me now is to remove all this and clean all this out and wash it all, because that's bugging me already. So anyway, yeah, so we've got access to that. We now need to gain access to it inside the vehicle. So that's going to entail removing the glove box. So we'll do that now. Okay, so now we're going to take the glove box out. So if you open it up, excuse the light, you'll see these little clips there. Get a little pick or a little screwdriver, pop that off. Don't do it like that, it's just one-handed, it's difficult. Unscrew that, you'll see there's 3 across here. There's 1 this side, and then at the very back of the glove box, there's 1 more. Take those out, and then the glove box will pull out. Right, so obviously I'm choosing to go through the glove box for access and down underneath here. Now you can leave all that in if you want, it's up to you, it's your choice, but you can take this off. So this end panel here, if you just get underneath it, you can pull it off and it unclips. But one point to note, if you've got an airbag, the isolation switch that you can turn the airbag on and off for the passenger side, if you've got one of those in this panel, don't disconnect it, plug at the back, just leave this hanging, because if you do disconnect it, you have to have the airbag light reset on the dash with a computer. You can't just plug it back in and it'll go off. So remember that. And also, obviously guys, if you've got this hanging down here because you don't want to unplug it, don't shut your door, because you'll crush this and smash it. So just remember that, especially if you guys are going to do this route down here, then you know you'll definitely probably take this out. It'll make your job a lot easier. I've took the scuttle off. Now obviously, as I mentioned, you guys don't need to do this, but if for some reason you do find it a bit like this and it bugs you because it's dirty and got a little bit of water and things like that, then to take this scuttle off here, to remove both the wiper arms, which just a little cap and then a 13mm nut, and then push up and down on them and then they'll pop off. And then to get this off, it clips in all here, but do not lever on the screen with a screwdriver. You can pull it up from the front, but if you're gonna like lever it or persuade it from the back, which you're probably gonna have to do because mine's broke the very corners there, just there and there. There, look, see, taking it off. But the rest of it will go back on fine. It's just that they're that tight to get started. You need to get yourself a little plastic trim tool or like a little bit of nylon or something and just grind it into a point and use something like this, something that's soft, because otherwise if you use a screwdriver you'll break the screen. So do not do that. Right, sorry to go off track, but I know I said you don't need to remove this scuttle, but I actually recommend it now because I mean this is still, I'm still cleaning it, but look at the difference now compared to if you look over here that hasn't yet properly been cleaned. And to be honest, the amount of dirt and junk and like sockets and stuff I found under here is unbelievable. And not just that, there's actually a water drain there, and there is this side as well, and both of them was actually partially blocked, and this grommet here for the bulkhead wasn't actually even in. So you've got emissions, like you've got like fumes and that coming into the cab, you've got moisture coming in. So actually now I've got to thoroughly clean all this, and now I've got to actually inspect it all. I feel a lot better. It doesn't take long, probably just take you like a Saturday morning, a few hours on a Saturday morning, and it's just peace of mind. And not just that, because I've done this, when I took that metal panel out there before, straight away I was like, we'll just go through that panel and I'll grommet it. Well actually now I've noticed there's a grommet here already on the body, so now we haven't got to drill that metal panel anymore and I can go through this VW grommet, so that's better. So I'm glad. If I hadn't done this I wouldn't have noticed that. And also it now allows me to send that metal plate off and this metal plate here, which is that one, and I'm going to get them powder coated because I want them a little bit nicer than what they already are. So I'll shut up about this now. I can't help but try and give good tips if I come across something. Right, so now when you get to this point, you've got the glove box out, you've got access from under the bonnet, you've got access from in the car. Now it's completely, step back a bit, it's completely up to you guys which route you go. You've got a few options. I'm going to come in and go along the top, drop down to here into the centre, come down the centre to under the seat, following the original harness line there, sitting in this recess. You don't have to do that. You can come down here, follow this channel down here, and then across the back. That is another route. I've removed all the carpet to do what we're doing now, the insulation and sound deadening. Now you don't need to do that. You can tuck the wire behind the carpet there. If you take this tray out here, this plastic tray just clips out, you can then tuck it under the carpet and you can tuck it along here, and then you can pop it out here and bring it along the back, because presumably you might not have boarded this yet, but you can tuck it in. That is a way you can do it without removing the passenger seat, without removing the carpet, without removing anything else. So that's the options. Obviously we're just doing it my way for now because I've got all this removed. So let's carry on and start bringing it in and then bringing it down. Okay, so now I've removed the grommet from the bulkhead itself, which can easily be done. You can just get a little pick underneath it or just like a screwdriver and just peel it out into the engine bay. This is the split charge cable. On this kit, the part there with the battery terminal on and the red cover, that goes on your leisure battery. You can reference this because it's where the relay is. The relay is the closest to the leisure battery as possible. So you know that's the leisure battery side, so that needs to be inside the vehicle. The outside is the lone part on its own with this fuse on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the thickness of this now, and I'm also going to pop this off, expose the fuse and unbolt it, so that when we drill the hole we can push it through, and we're pushing it through at this diameter and not trying to get all this bulky fuse blocks through. Okay, so if you get a little screwdriver, just pop that little open there, and then you'll see it's got two 8mm headed nuts on, nylock nuts. So I'll unbolt this, and then that's the part that we'll push through, and then all I do is, just before I reconnect it to the battery, I'll connect this back up first. But what we'll do, this cable is 8mm, so what we're going to use a 6mm drill bit and try and make the fitment to this grommet as nice and tight as physically possible. Okay, so now we've got the 6mm drill bit, we've drilled the hole through the grommet that we need. That's done. We now need to disconnect this from the fuse link. So you've got your 8mm socket. If you take off the cable from the long side, not the short side, so undo it from there. I recommend putting that back on there, look, just so you don't lose it. So now this has got to come through the bulkhead, so make sure you get this right. This has got to come through the bulkhead from the inside, because this is where all the length's going to stay. Now, because you've done this hole at 6mm for an 8mm pipe, it's going to be very tight to push it through there, but stick with it. That's good, that's what you want, because you want to try and make it as tight and as sealed round here as possible. Like I said, it's a little bit tricky, you have to put quite a bit of pressure on it. Then, what you want, guys, not sure how well you can see this, but you'll see, look how well that's sealed. Can you see that? Because you've done it at 6mm instead of 8mm. So that's a good tip. So what you need to do is you need to just push through as much excess as you like. Always, when you push it through to the engine bay, push it back like so. So if you look at here, when it's going that directional, see how the grommet pops out? That's good. I mean, it still works perfectly fine, but for me, I want it popping in like that, so it creates a little well. The reason for that is I'm actually going to put some seal around here as a bit more of a kind of fail safe to make sure it is 100% watertight. You might not want to do that, it's up to you. The chances of this leaking water in is so slim, it's unbelievable. But I'm just going to put a little bit of seal around because I've already got the sealer, and I just think it just a little bit better of a job. Because the last thing you want to do is put all this back together, put all your trim in, get everything back together, and then find you've got damp carpets and stuff. I mean, that'd just be depressing. Okay, so now when you put it back, the grommet back in, it's like that. And where you can see that, make sure it's all sealed, and then we're going to go through this part here. So let's pull this out a sec. We're going to go through the centre of that part there, just above where my thumb is now, doing the same technique, 6mm drill bit, and then we'll push that through. Right, so I've put the wire in. I'm not sure how well you'll see that, but I've put some extra seal around that grommet where the wire goes through the grommet. You don't need to do that, it's just an extra precautionary measure to make sure it's watertight. Followed that harness there, I've used harness tape, gone down through that, as we can see. Follow that harness there, I've used the VW clips there on the body, and then I've brought it up to there so I can put it on the battery. You can go to the left hand side of the battery as you look at it, but I've gone to the right, that's up to you. When you put this plate back on, you'll see that it actually comes right close to this. Check that you're not fouling. There is a rubber seal on the bottom of this plate anyway, but mind not touching it, but just make sure that yours isn't up against it. If it is, bring it to the side a little bit more or something, the wire, but generally it just misses, so it's not going to rub or anything in the future. freshly powdered. You can't see it, but they were starting to rust up a little bit, and I had that one powder coated as well. It's just peace of mind, and for like a tenner or something, it's worth having them freshly painted, and then you know they're mint. So when you're at this point, guys, just spend a bit of time and just clean your battery terminals, wipe it all down, paint your battery clamp, do little bits and bobs. If you remember how bad this was when we started, how filthy that was, you know, just give your terminals a nice wipe down so they can make the best possible connection. Give it a clean, give your scuttle like a degrease and a wipe down. I've painted the wiper arms that I'm going to put on now. Obviously I powder coated those plates. Just spend a bit of time, have a bit of pride now, because you're going to spend a lot on this van, so just spend the time. Okay guys, so now I've got all the wire in and I've got it routed to how I want. So I've left myself enough excess there, which is going to come up here with the rest of the harness through the carpet and into underneath the driver's seat base. So that's enough there. As you can see, I've come into this well here. At every point it potentially sits on the floor or is close to a plastic clip, I've put these little sticky pad foam kind of cushions, if you like. So it comes, let's just get you, comes down there. I've also wrapped a layer of harness tape around areas that it potentially could sit up against or touch harder stuff like plastic or the body. Goes up here, foam sticky pads to protect it, harnessed, taped to the original harness there. Now I've used P-clips here. I've just undone the two original bolts and P-clipped it there, so it's all risen off the floor now, it's not touching anything. P-clipped it there as well, comes up there, comes under the wiring harness there, and if you can see that, I've drilled and pop riveted a P-clip there against that centre frame, so that holds, all of that is being held there away from the body, which is really good. I'm really happy with it. It then goes up, touching, sitting on that foam there. It goes up the dash at the back. I've cable tied it there. I've got to cut those cable ties off now, and it comes up here. If you look down there where the light is, let's try and get you in. Comes up there, not touching anything, and then here where the light's shining now, I've actually took out a very small original screw which is in the heater box. I've got a little bit of metal and I've drilled two holes in it, twisted it 180 degrees, screwed that into the screw hole, and then I've put some tape around it and some foam around it at the top and actually cable tied the wire to it. Then it goes round there, not touching anything, and into the grommet. I need to stress the fact that spend some time, do a nice job. This is quite an important job, so get this right, do it right first time. I know I've got a lot more stripped on the dash and things than you need to do, or probably want. Don't need to strip it this much. But also, if you're doing things like insulating the floor and stuff, you're going to do that anyway. You're going to have to take the carpet out and things like that, so you might as well do all these kind of jobs in one, to save yourself doing things a couple of 3 times. Obvious, I know. Like I said, you can come down here. This would be a slightly different job to mine. However, you want the overall result to be the same. You know, P-clip it or cable tie it or tape it, or, you know, make some bracketry for it. In areas that you can, capitalise on some of the bolts that the body have already got, capitalise on some of the recessed wells and areas that are there for you to benefit from. Things like this, a little sheet of these costs a couple of pounds. So what I'll do now is, I'm going to put the carpet back in, because I can, now all this is done, I can put all the carpet back in, and then we can start to look at where we're coming up under the driver's seat, and we can start to work out the bracketry we need and the position and placing that we're going to put our battery, our wiring, our relay. Schoolboy error on my part. I forgot to put this in first, so I've got to take it out now. Okay, so I'm going to end the video here. Now the reason for that is because we're at the 20 minutes, past 20 minutes kind of mark, and I know most people don't like a video longer than 20 minutes. Don't feel that I could have really edited or cut much out because I kind of feel that the content so far has been facts that I'd like to make sure you guys know, and I kind of feel that you will benefit from. So because of that, I couldn't really make this video in one without it being sort of 40 minutes long, and I know a lot of people won't go for that. That's the bad news. The good news is though, the next video, the next upload, hopefully Wednesday, if not it might be Thursday or Friday, depends on powder coating. This is the first part, which is getting the wires and everything, the power into the van, and then the second one will be mounting, modifying the seat base, mounting the battery, mounting the split charge, and actually looking where to go from that point on, but getting it all in, all under your seat. So look forward to that. You guys can do this to your vans now, get up to the point where the video is showing you to, and then by the time you're at that point, the next upload, which will allow you to continue further, should hopefully be uploaded. So thanks for watching, guys. I know the current climate at the moment's a little bit up and down, so I wish you all the best. Stay safe, look after your family. I'll see you next time.